MLB free agency, a deep dive into the pitching market. In this in-depth analysis of the MLB free agent market, we dive deep into the decisive moves clubs are making to solidify their starting rotations, where blockbuster deals are on the horizon. The race for Framber Valdez's signature is heating up as both the Baltimore Orioles and New York Mets view him as a top priority to lead their rotations as a frontline ace. This intense interest stems from the deep-rooted connections between Valdez and the front offices of both teams. Executives like Mike Elias and David Stearns both worked with him during their tenure with the Houston Astros. For Baltimore, acquiring a high-caliber pitcher like Valdez would immediately elevate their roster from a promising young group into a legitimate World Series contender. A rotation spearheaded by Valdez, followed by Kyle Bradish, Trevor Rogers, and Shane Baz, would create incredible depth capable of challenging any opponent in the postseason. The arrival of Valdez would allow other pitchers, such as Dean Kramer or Cade Povich, to slot into lower-pressure roles or gain more development time without the burden of heavy expectations. The strategic play for an ace. Meanwhile, for the New York Mets, the need for a true number one is even more urgent, as their current staff consists primarily of mid-rotation arms, or number three starters. David Stearns understands that without a dominant ace to anchor the staff, the Mets will struggle to compete for the division title or make a deep playoff run. To solve this, the Mets may offer creative contract structures with multiple opt-outs to entice Valdez. These flexible agreements allow the player to reevaluate his market value after a few successful seasons, while helping the team mitigate long-term financial risks. We also cannot rule out the Atlanta Braves making a surprise late-stage push to establish an unprecedented four-ace rotation. If Valdez were to join a staff featuring Chris Sale, Spencer Strider, and Schwellenbach, the Braves would possess the most fearsome pitching firepower in the league. Although the Braves typically shy away from splashing cash on massive free agent contracts, the prospect of absolute dominance through elite pitching might prompt a shift in strategy. For the San Francisco Giants, recruiting Valdez is a strategic move to build a rotation with enough depth to go toe-to-toe with NL West giants like the Dodgers and Padres. The Giants need at least three top-tier starters to be considered a true force in the National League, and Valdez is the perfect piece to pair alongside Logan Webb and Robbie Ray. The Ranger Suarez factor and the domino effect. Turning to Ranger Suarez, the market is raising interesting questions about whether he will serve as a rotation leader or a high-end depth piece. While Suarez is closely linked to the Mets and Orioles, many believe he might only be viewed as a number 2 or 3 starter in a star-studded rotation. However, with the Los Angeles Angels, Suarez would undoubtedly be the undisputed ace, providing the stability that the franchise has long lacked. Joining the Angels would allow Suarez to assert his status clearly rather than pitching in the shadow of other stars as he did with the Philadelphia Phillies. For the Chicago Cubs, Suarez would be a luxury addition to round out their rotation, but the price tag could be a hurdle if he isn't guaranteed a leading role. Looking at the broader market, we are seeing a domino effect where every signing directly impacts the subsequent moves of other clubs. The Toronto Blue Jays signing of Kaz Okamoto has completely shifted their calculations regarding Alex Bregman or Bo Bichette, forcing management to weigh budget constraints and positional needs more carefully. Elite bats like Cody Bellinger continue to wait patiently for the right offer, while teams like the Yankees and Mets are engaged in a financial chess match to avoid overpaying. The complex interplay between roster needs and financial flexibility has made this free agency period one of the most vibrant and unpredictable in recent years. As the final pieces of the puzzle fall into place, a new power structure will emerge, setting the stage for a dramatic and surprise-filled season ahead.
Ranger Suarez.
The strategic piece in the MLB transfer market. Closing out the list of top stars on the transfer market is pitcher Ranger Suarez, who is attracting significant interest from teams such as the Mets, Orioles, Braves, Cubs, and Angels. Similar to Framber Valdez, Suarez is one of the names who rejected a qualifying offer to seek new challenges and a more fitting contract. Experts believe that his position in a pitching rotation will depend heavily on the specific evaluation and scouting systems of each club. Some view him as an excellent number 2 or 3 starter, while others believe he has the qualities of a frontline ace. This divergence in perception has created an intriguing competition among teams looking to bolster their pitching depth. For the New York Mets, the most critical question is whether Suarez is truly a number 1, or just another addition to a rotation that is already deep but lacks a breakthrough edge. The fact that he previously pitched in a rotation filled with stars like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola in Philadelphia might be the reason he has never truly been the lead man. However, the experience and big-game composure Suarez has accumulated over the years are undeniable assets for any team. If he joins the Mets, he would provide the stability and depth necessary for the team to be more confident in long-haul matchups. Nevertheless, the price tag for a pitcher like Suarez will force David Stearns to carefully weigh the return on investment against other targets. At the Chicago Cubs, the addition of Suarez would create a formidable rotation when combined with names like Imanaga or Steele. Slotting a high-caliber pitcher like him into the number 3 spot would give the Cubs a rock-solid defensive foundation from the mound. However, if the Cubs do not view him as a true ace, spending a large sum on a number 3 starter might not be their top priority. Conversely, the Los Angeles Angels are considered the best fit for Suarez from a professional standpoint, as he would undoubtedly be their number 1 starter. Leading a pitching staff that includes Kikuchi or Soriano would allow Suarez to most clearly assert his status and influence. The pairing of Suarez and the Angels is seen as a perfect marriage, as the team hungers for a leader who can completely transform the face of their pitching staff. Meanwhile, at the Atlanta Braves, Suarez might only serve as a number 4 starter if their lineup features Sale, Schwellenbach, and Strider. This highlights the vast difference in a player's role when placed into different systems across the league. Whether joining a championship contender or a rebuilding team, Suarez remains a vital strategic piece. The final decisions of these stars will be the missing pieces that complete the overall MLB picture for the new season. Concluding this free agency analysis, it is clear that a dramatic domino effect is driving the actions of every team. Every contract, whether for Kyle Tucker or Ranger Suarez, carries the power to completely shift the strategies of their competitors. Understanding the compatibility between player and team not only gives fans deeper insight, but also predicts the success or failure of clubs. In the world of baseball, sometimes a right choice at the right time is the key to unlocking the door to eternal glory. Let's wait and see the next developments. And don't forget to follow the latest updates on the blockbuster deals about to break.